My name is Jan Burt, and I have a mental illness known as bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder expresses itself in an irregular pattern of changes in mood, energy, and thinking. These changes may be subtle or dramatic and may range from periods of extremely elevated mood or mania to periods of deep depression. After the loss of my mother by suicide, my teen years of struggle, and some bizarre behaviors as an adult, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder 16 years ago and began a course of lifelong treatment and recovery. I have been hospitalized 3 times, but have not been hospitalized at all for the past 13 years. When I speak of being in recovery, I do not mean that I still do not experience some symptoms of my disorder. By recovery, I mean that my life is on a path in a hopeful direction. To me, recovery means that being bipolar is not the most important or overriding feature of my life. My bipolar illness is manageable now because of the support I have and the structure with which I have surrounded myself. I do require regular medication. I do require a reliable schedule, a reduction of stress, lots of sleep, the support of my family and other loved ones, meaningful activities, and the strength of my faith. Over the years, I have learned how to adapt my life so my illness stays under control, but it has not been easy, and I have had lots of help. Many individuals in the state of Idaho who live with bipolar disorder or other mental illness do not have around them an infrastructure of family, friends, and church to support their recovery as I do. For these folks, assistance in the form of therapists, medicine prescribers, and psychosocial rehabilitation personnel to deal with psychological issues and rehabilitate them into society may mean that their illnesses remain stable enough so they can live independently or in group homes instead of being hospitalized or incarcerated. Many who have been disabled by their mental illness or who are not covered by health insurance simply do not have the means to acquire these needed services in the private pay healthcare system. It is on their behalf that I am speaking to you today. Medicaid matters to them because it is only through Medicaid that they can access these necessary services. Individual good health is just as much about mental health as it is about physical health. Recent federal legislation promotes equality in treatment of mental disorders and illnesses that are considered purely physical or medical. We would not even consider denying needed treatment and rehabilitative help to someone suffering from cancer or having suffered a stroke. How can we justify even proposing elimination of services for people with mental illness or developmental disability? How can we suggest resolving our state's budget crisis at the expense of this most vulnerable population, a population that is worthy of assistance and protection and does not deserve further stigmatization or loss of opportunity? We must not allow cuts in Medicaid to deprive any individual Idahoans of the services they need to be functional, productive citizens, as I am, even though I live with a serious mental illness. Our message today is that Medicaid matters to everyone who lives with a mental illness or loves someone who does. Our legislators must find a way to continue providing essential Medicaid-funded mental health services in our state to prevent greater costs in local emergency rooms, the state hospital, our jails and prisons, and in terms of human suffering and loss of life by suicide. Any proposed tax increase in this state must be dedicated to the continued provision of essential services for persons living with mental illness. Thank you.